Oh, look at that. I'm only 4 days late. How about that, huh? Well, okay, here's my end of the year favorite pickups thing. It's only a month and 4 days late, but better late than never, I would say. Anyway, I'm going to start off with, I just got 4 CDs here. These are the releases I did not manage to grab on vinyl. That I was, had the chance to, just didn't have enough money or what have you. First one is Utstadt with Yoranga Vagar. I promise you this is not nepotism kicking in because, I'm friends with Sean, but this is legitimately a really damn good, Cascadian black metal release, and I'm really looking forward to what they do next. I'm just getting the CDs done over with really quick. But yeah, Utstadt, Yoranga Vagar, Reversion's Crown with Tyrant. Seeing the Glass Sentient live kicked so much ass earlier in the year. The brief period where I did not have a car to drive, or I had a car to drive, I usually ended up playing this. It was during the summer, because I was using my parents' Buick, and that only has a CD player, no aux cord or anything. This is usually one of my go-tos. Reversion's Crown, Tyrant. Next, one of my favorite releases from last year, one I was really looking forward to, A Hill to Die Upon with, Via Arthas, Via Mortis. Really good black and death metal. It leans more towards the death metal than it does with the black metal. Doesn't make it any less good. If you don't mind Christian lyrics and you like black and death metal, definitely give this a check out. A Hill to Die Upon, Via Artis, Via Mortis, and last for the CDs, Except with the Rise of Chaos. I was really looking forward to this. I was also really looking forward to the new Danzig album, but that disappointed. This did not. This is still Except in tip-top shape. Definitely a lot of good songs on here. Classic, speed metal, whatever the hell you want to call it. Musical geniuses. Except Rise of Chaos. Now we move on to vinyl. This one I'm going to take a little bit more time with. First, Caladan Brood, Echoes of Battle, Die Hard Edition. Holy hell, never thought I'd get this for as cheap as I did. The only raffle that I've ever won in my life. This album still kicks the highest caliber of ass, and I'm probably going to be listening to it later tonight, because I don't have to go to work until about noon tomorrow. But, yeah, Echoes of Battle, with 2 summoning covers on here, too. Marching Onwards, and what's the other one? Passing of the Great Company. Cascadian black metal at its absolute finest. I really, really hope they eventually put something else out, but, better have one flawless release than, one flawless release and then 3 meh albums. And posters, Sword Anvil, or Mortal Sword and Shield Anvil. And I always feel the need to show this off. Die Hard Edition pin. I am so happy to have that, and I've listened to that thing probably about 15 times this year. Worn down the needle on my turntable quite a bit. And yeah, I'm really happy to have it. Next up, I can always rely on my uncle to come in with the clutch for dope records. Celtic Frost, Morbid Tales. He gave me this one for my birthday. He had Amazon ship it. It's the reissue. And like I said in the video I did with this in it, if you really want more elaborate details about the reissue, go to Sean's channel. He's, Celtic Frost is his favorite band of all time. Meanwhile, I can just appreciate this for being a pretty damn kick-ass album. Gatefold. Boom. Morbid Tales, Celtic Frost. If you don't know this, there's a fucking problem. If you like extreme metal, and you haven't listened to this, don't call yourself an extreme metal fan, because this is like this and Hellhammer are like the basic roots of like black and death, kind of. Like, black metal wouldn't exist as we know it today without Celtic Frost, and especially not without Hellhammer or Morbid Tales. And next, I got this one on my birthday, which is, it kind of kickstarted the whole obsession again, and it just hasn't died down. Bell Witch with their 2011 demo, and that's the actual title. There's nothing, in my opinion, that really tops Bell Witch as far as Funeral Doom goes. Like, Ahab and Lost come close, but not as close as these guys. These guys have mastered the art of it. What's his name? Dylan Desmond. His vocals are haunting and fucking incredible, and I don't know how he gets his bass to sound the way it does, but it sounds like a legitimate guitar, and it blows my mind every single time. I couldn't be happier with the fact that I got this, especially for as cheap as I did. I was $20. And granted, this doesn't exactly go for a lot of money online, but doesn't mean that it won't eventually, since it is a first press. But like I said, I'm super happy to have that. That kicked my Bell Witch obsession again, and I'm beyond happy to be able to have that. And I actually prefer the demo version of Beneath the Mask and I Wait to the album version on Longing of those two songs. Moving on, Ghost BC with Infestus Your Mom, or Infesting Your Mom. Shout out to you, Pat. Honest to God, this is probably the best Ghost album in my opinion, and I know a lot of people might hate me for that, but I think this is the best Ghost album. To me, it's got the best songs. Goulet, Zombie Queen, Year Zero, Monstrance Clock, Secular Haze. Like, it's basically like Rolling Stones done better, because I can't stand the Rolling Stones. And Gatefold, and it's on red vinyl too. I'm just not going to pull that out, but yeah, this, honest to God, is one of the best Ghost albums, if not the best. Followed shortly by Opus Eponymous, then Meliora. Really? You're really gonna do this to me? Come on. But yeah, my opinion, Papa's vocals haven't exactly reached like their peak performance yet, but he's found like a happy medium in between, like, the kind of campiness that was on Opus Eponymous versus the over-the-top theatrics that was on Meliora. And it's a really good happy medium. It's nothing like to stand out, and it's nothing really to blow your mind, but this is my first Ghost album that I ever listened to, and maybe that's why it's just got a soft spot in my crispy little heart, my frozen heart. This is a year of doom metal for me, honestly. There's so much like doom that I discovered and got into this year, and I've been a fan of doom for a while. And I also managed to get Pallbearer with Sorrow and Extinction, their seminal debut. Gatefold. Another thing that I got on my birthday from Bucket of Blood over by Kuma's Corner in Chicago. Love that place. I love Bucket of Blood. I love Kuma's Corner. I got this sucker for like $24, and honest to God, I couldn't be happier. This is some of their best work, and while I did enjoy Heartless quite a bit, actually, I do think that their first two are better purely because with doom metal, it's if you watched the Needle Drops review on Heartless, then one thing you might remember him saying is they don't get lost in the riff as much, which, in my opinion, can be kind of a detriment because, in my opinion, Doom, it's one of the best things you can do to get lost in the riff, but know when to come out and go back into another one and come back into the chorus or another verse. Getting lost in the riff has half of what drives doom metal, in my opinion. It's half of what drives it. It's a lot of the reason why I come back to it. It's not the same as like. It's kind of like going. What the reason why I go to Bolt Thrower more often than not if I'm going to listen to death metal is for the riffs. Why I go to Watain for a lot of black metal is because of the riffs. Why I go to Pallbearer for Doom or Bell Witch is because of the riffs. I love good riffing. If you can write a good riff, you can catch my attention, and as long as you can keep that and know when to come out, you, my friend, have reached, like, peak awesome. Alright, and then moving on, Necrot with Blood Offerings, their first album. I got this at the last show that I went to before my interview for my new job, and granted I've been, hiding it, nobody's actually seen it, but it's the last job that I went to before I chopped off my my mohawk. It's the last concert I went to, and I made sure to go all out with Necrot, Undergang, and or Unagong and Cyanide all playing. It was one hell of a show, and it was a really good send-off for my flowing locks that I've had since before this channel even started, or since before I got this laptop and then started making videos regularly. And honestly, I like Blood Offerings a little bit more than I do like Misanthropology, which I know that's immediately going to get me crucified by a select few people, but this is probably one of the best death metal releases this year, hands down, and I'm more than happy that I got to see these guys live. Yeah, just really good shit, and since I already have it out, it's sliding out. Probably one of the sexier vinyl I have in my collection. That is Necrot with Blood Offerings. So many good memories associated with this album. So many. And then moving on, you got this. Actually, before we do that, dishonorable mention, probably about halfway through, Demon Hunter Outlive. Fuck this album. I honest to God feel betrayed by Ryan Clark with this album. In the liner notes, it's legitimately said that, oh, this is a B-side that we never thought to use before, so we figured why not try it. And you can tell it's a bunch of B-sides. It's nothing about this album is really stand out past the second track. That's the first one is like an intro, and then the second one comes in. It's not that bad, and I was excited once I heard Cold Winter Sun. This thing would cooperate with me. Let me see. Cold Winter Sun. Trying Times. Jesus Wept. Died in My Sleep. Half is Dead. Yeah, Half is Dead and Cold Winter Sun really were the only two songs on this monstrosity of an album that stood out to me, and I hate saying that because Demon Hunter were my favorite band for 14 years, and then I discovered Slipknot, and they hold a bit more of a dear place in my heart than Slipknot do. It pains me to say that album sucks, but it sucks so badly. It's not Demon Hunter. I honestly I feel like Ryan Clark and the rest of them need to take a break and focus on other things, and then come back to Demon Hunter when they have inspiration. Yeah, anyway, moving on. Back to actual list. Watain the Wild Hunt box set. I am such a Watain fanboy, it pains me. I'm beyond happy to have this. I've got, you see right there, you can see the altar cloth, and like goddamn, I probably spun this album 10 times this year alone, and that's not even counting the amount of times that I've had a Watain playlist going in my car with like 5 or 6 songs from the Wild Hunt on there. I love this album with all my heart, and it's part of the reason why I'm such a big Watain fanboy. And on the same topic as Bell Witch with Longing. Or not the same topic as Bell Witch. Going back to an earlier topic, rather. Bell Witch with Longing. This is the first Bell Witch album I ever heard. And the reason I decided to give it a listen is the same reason I decided to give a lot of the albums that, a lot of bands a listen, is the artwork. Holy hell, this artwork is just, it's sublime. As I said in my video where I got Mirror Reaper in, I feel like I love Paolo Girardi's artwork. I love all the artwork he did for the Inquisition reissues. I feel like every last one of them was really stand out. But when the artwork he did for Phantoms of Bell Witch, I like it, but I don't feel like it fits with Bell Witch's sound. I know that's really nitpicky, but like this, you just get a sense of dread by looking at this. Like, you know what you're getting into. You know you're in for a really sad, like, hour. It's incredible. Whereas with Girardi, like, it's fantastical and whimsical. Not really whimsical. It's still kind of depressing, as a lot of his artwork is. But it's too colorful. Way too colorful. Rather, the colors he used were too bright in shade to properly fit for Bell Witch. Regardless, the same reason I checked this out 3-ish years ago is because of the artwork, and I've been a fan ever since. I loved 4 Phantoms when that came out. I loved Mirror Reaper, and I love Longing, and I'm so happy to have almost everything from them on vinyl. And next, again, count on my uncle to come in clutch. Conqueror with War Cult Supremacy. This is revenge before revenge was revenge. Ryan Forster and Jay Reed, and I actually remembered Ryan's name this time. But holy shit, this album will just, it'll take your dick and then just tear it off bare hands, like, just, because it is vicious. It wants you dead. It doesn't want you to like it unless you're a broken-ass human being like me. This album is incredible, and I can't give it enough praise for everything that it pretty much gave birth to in the future. Conqueror, War Cult Supremacy. Fucking get your hands on one of these any way you can. And now to the top 3, and all these are not necessarily in any order besides these 3. These 3 could be interchanged with my top 3 favorite pickups of the year. And really, any of them are contender for my number 1. The last 2 I'm going to show are probably like hand in hand. But first, Bell Witch with Mirror Reaper. Holy shit. This is just... It is the antithesis of fast. It is the antithesis of happiness. You will want to hang yourself as you're listening to this album, because holy shit, the sad in this is real. Like, you can tell that Dylan Desmond and hold on. Dylan Desmond and I forget the new drummer's name. Dylan Desmond, Jesse Schriebman. You can tell that they put their heart, their absolute heart and soul into this. And you can tell by the lyrics that Dylan is very heavy-hearted about Adrian's passing. And you can tell that Jesse put absolutely everything he could into making it sound appropriate for something that would represent Adrian well. You can tell. It is such a long album, and it's just one continuous song the whole time, with 2 parts, as above, so below, and just holy shit, it's a fucking journey. It is a solemn journey. If you don't like Funeral Doom, do not even consider picking this album up, because it won't scare you off, but you'll probably get bored. This is not an album to start off with Funeral Doom. But this is hands down one of the best damn releases this year in any metal genre, in any genre in general. It's absolutely incredible, and I can't recommend it enough if you like Funeral Doom. Alright, and next, Cult de Ghoul with Coven, or Evil Ways Instead of Love. Holy shit. I can't even express to you how many times I've played this thing throughout the year. Like, there's not one solitary second on this album that I would take away. Cult de Ghoul is on top of their game. They've always been on top of their game with every release that they've put out, and I know I sound like, every fanboy, like, oh, Henbane's better than Haxon, which it is, but this is better than Haxon or Henbane, hands down, and I might have people wanting to crucify me because of that, but fuck you, it's true. The Devil He Is, I Swear God, is one hell of a way to open the song open the album right after The Prophecy. As the moon casts an ominous glow and wild winds blow. Those words are stuck in my head. It's doom. It's like black doom, and it can't get any better. And in my opinion, Satan, Father, Savior, Hear My Prayer, the final song in the album, is the best song on the album. If for one particular moment, then for the one moment where everything cuts out, or fades rather, and you just hear the bass, the kick, and then you come in with the galloping riff after the squealing guitar, and then the kick becomes like a gallop with a galloping riff, and holy shit, that song is mind-blowing. Every time I start it, I immediately know I'm in for probably what is going to be the best half hour of my life and the foreseeable future. It is, without a doubt, one of my favorites. My second favorite release of this year, Cult de Ghoul with Coven. And if you haven't gotten your hands on one of these, get your hands on one of these. Check this shit out. It's probably the easiest Cult de Ghoul album to get into, which by no means you should overlook Haxon or Henbane, or The Rise of Lucifer, or Spectres Over Transylvania, or their split with Sepulchral Zeal that came out. You need to check all of it out. But if you're looking to try and get into them, Try to get past the long song lengths, set aside about an hour and a half of your life, and get this. It's good shit. And then, purely because it's kind of like nepotism at this point for this album, but Crown Effects have died without hope. Signed by everybody, once again, as all my shit from Crown Effects is, minus shirts and the 3 flags I have. This album is borderline my favorite album of all time, right next to The Satanist and Surgical Steel and Point 5 The Great Chapter. It's been with me through a lot, and it's helped me through a lot. And there's absolutely nothing that anybody could say or do that could take away how much this album means to me. Like, even if one day it turned out Scott did some horrible, horrible shit, or Fred did some horrible shit, or Jordan or Sean or Corey, like, it wouldn't matter. This album is my go-to in some of my darkest times. It's helped me feel better in some of the darkest periods of my life. And I can't ever, like, be as happy as I am to have another album as I was to have this and to have it signed. It feels like an honor, really. Despite, like I said, it's kind of like nepotism at this point, but I love Crown Effects absolutely to death. And, yep, only 4 days late, but that is my end of the year favorite pickups video. I've got one more video, because that item that I made mention of in the last one came in. You see, it came in the post. And I've listened to all the other albums that I didn't have a chance to, and I'll be making a video about it pretty soon. And after that, I've got something from Sean on the way when the next Descendant clothing shirt comes out. I've got something on the way there. And then after that, after those 2 videos, I don't know when I'm going to be making a video again. I'm going to pick up a second job, and I've got 3 concerts I'm going to within the next 2 months, 4 months, or 3 months actually, but I've got 3 concerts I'm going to within the next 3 months, and it's just, I don't know when I'm going to be able to make a video again, because I need money to be able to, when I'm going to make a final update video again, because I need money to be able to buy things, and I don't have the money. So, yeah, thanks for watching, guys. I appreciate it as always, and deuces.